Alright, I'm coming to you from campus as I walk to my car and try to determine the fastest way to get home. Wearing the mask so as to keep others safe around me and in case I come upon someone. Today we talk more about identifying biases and backgrounds. Your background will influence your experience, and therefore sometimes you don't even know to let others know about your backgrounds. So if you have experience in one realm that could benefit someone, you might not realize that it's beneficial because it's just part of your thought process. So we did an exercise based on an article in the New York Times about the fall of Lehman Brothers regarding how the two persons involved in that had background biases, background expectations or interpretations of how they were being viewed that triggered them when others were interacting with them. So have a process in place to be able to objectively pull apart the story you're telling yourself, to use Brene Brown's words. You're telling yourself a story. You have this idea of how the world is and how other people are responding. So, for example, I figured that a lot of people would have similar backgrounds to me as a business undergrad, but with people coming from various other backgrounds, we were actually told in pulling apart a case that business undergrads sometimes get complacent. They say, "Oh, I've done casework before. I don't need to do anything more than I did in undergrad." And in some regards, those who didn't have a business background pulled it apart or saw things differently than I did because they were newly exposed to cases. Or I got complacent and said, "I've done this before, I'll read it once, take a couple notes, and I'll be fine." Whereas others who might have been more intimidated by it were saying, I don't know what I'm supposed to get from this, so I'll take more notes, be very diligent about it. So recognize the story you're telling yourself might not actually be that accurate, and then try to apply a scope of how to add in the objectivity so as to get better results. Once you let your emotions start playing into how you're viewing something, you kind of get fixated on wanting to be right. Again, using that, I said, "Oh, here's my analysis, here's what should need to be done." But then when a couple facts came up that would have totally disproven my stance, I would still want to stand next to it because I'd taken that stance, I'd verbalized it, rather than being open and willing to say, "Hey, there could be an even better way of looking at this." So, always learning, and I'll do better on my next case evaluation, which I'm excited about.